Good Monday morning, my dear Christian brother or sister. I hope this Monday finds you ready for another productive week. I hope you're doing well. But more than anything else, of course, I hope that you're living your very best life through Jesus Christ. Yesterday, I had a little problem. I said, well, here I go again, trying to be perfect under my own steam and criticizing myself when I fail. Such thinking is not only counterproductive and destructive to my mind and spirit, it's also exhausting and futile. Because I know I'm never going to be able to be perfect in this life, and certainly not without Jesus' help. So, what is it that drives us to work so hard to be perfect without consulting Him, without asking for assistance, with asking for strength and guidance? Well, the short answer is sheer pride, and I ought to know. Anyone who knows me well knows that I want everything to be perfect. I intensely dislike, notice I don't say I hate, when I find a flaw in whatever I'm doing, and that critical spirit has plagued me my entire life. Oh, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing your best. We should strive to do so. Colossians 3:23 and 24 reminds us whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. But if we're not careful, the search for perfection will lead us to anger and bitterness, self abasement, and frankly, uselessness. And I can speak with great authority in this manner because I've done that, precisely that. No matter how well something turns out, be it a piece of music, a musical performance, a commentary, devotional, yesterday's sermon, or whatever, I often find myself concentrating on the flaws rather than the finished product. As I've said many times, most mistakes can be prevented with a little more thinking, effort, and care, except when they can't. The truth is that some mistakes are simply unavoidable. It's part of being human. I know what it's like to allow one tiny mistake to ruin your appreciation of something you've done and destroy any possibility of joy from the achievement. I think this comes from my father, who, with the best intentions, often said to us that your achievement doesn't mean anything in the end unless it was really perfect. Or as Dad used to put it, when you're sweeping the floor, it's not what you get, it's what you leave that matters. It took me many years to learn the value of my work is not necessarily negated by the mistakes and the imperfections, and that sometimes the mistakes and imperfections are the things that make something really, truly valuable and beautiful. I believe this time last year I said something about their Japanese culture. There's a technique known as kintsugi, which means golden joinery, which is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with lacquer dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. And this accentuates the flaws rather than hiding them and creates an object of beauty from something that is clearly flawed. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the history of an object rather than something to disguise. I like to think this may be the way the Lord looks at us. I mean, let's face it, as I've said, nobody's perfect. We all have flaws, some minor, some and virtually undetectable to others, and some major flaws which we think devalue us and make us worthless in God's eyes. And yet the Lord loves us, values us, and if we're willing, mends these flaws, filling the cracks with Himself, making something beautiful from something useless and broken. It's our imperfections that actually enable us to be used by the Father. It allows us to see the beauty in being mended by the Lord. I don't know about you, but when I look in the mirror, I see lots of flaws. And if I start down the road of listing my flaws, my mistakes, and my imperfections, this devotional will go on for a long time. No matter how much I try to ignore the flaws or tell myself I'm worthy, self-doubt creeps in, and once again the quest for perfection steals my joy. It's in these moments that I try to remember that my idea of perfection is not the same as God's. When I'm struggling, I go back to what the Scripture says. David said in Psalms, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. I mean, think about that. If King David, who was far from perfect, had to remind himself that God's works are wonderful, why do I believe I should be exempt from doing the same? There is such beauty in that imperfection. I was created, as were you, by an incredible, awe-inspiring creator who designed us just as we are. We have worth. We have value. We are loved. Let's face it, perfection is overrated. It's a joy stealer. It's an illusion that will drive you crazy if you let it. And if you're looking for perfection in this life, it ain't going to happen, at least not here, not without Christ. So I think instead I will continue to strive to be perfect, but be undismayed by my mistakes, my flaws, my imperfections. And remember that I'm not on my own in this, because Jesus is always there at my shoulder to help. I'm going to allow myself to be human and flawed and lean on God, who's perfect and loving. I can do my best at everything else I can, make mistakes occasionally, and glory in the one who sees the beauty in them anyway. The one who uses my flaws to his glory. The God who makes no mistakes. And be assured, he didn't make any with me, and he's not going to make any with you. I hope you make today a wonderful day. I want you to know that I hope to see you tomorrow for the prayer meeting, or the Zoom prayer meeting, and Wednesday for Bible study. And I want you to know that I'm here should you need me, and I truly love you all. Bye-bye.